Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one here, I want to talk about zombie bears, or are we actually seeing a zombie bear in The Walking Dead Dead City Season 2? So yeah, let's discuss that. So before going further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. There's a few other things that I want to talk about from the trailer, so yeah, expect a lot of videos coming out over the next week and whatnot. We're like, 40-something days away until the show premieres, so I'm very, very excited about that. I honestly cannot wait for this show to come out. I will just say as well, in terms of the success of the show so far in terms of promoting The Walking Dead Dead City Season 2, it's actually been a lot better than Daryl Dixon Season 2. It's only been a few days, but it seems like it could potentially rival The Walking Dead The Ones Who Live. But yeah, we'll see about that. Everyone seems to really like the trailer, and I think that's a big thing for the show. You know, like obviously a really good trailer is going to get people to really watch it because it's exciting, right? So yeah, we'll have to wait and see until we actually watch the show to see how great it looks, right? Like The Ones Who Lived looked absolutely amazing, and I still really like the show, but obviously the ending was more of an issue that I had personally. And so as great as a trailer looks, you're gonna have to watch the show to see how it actually is. But so far, Dead City Season 2 is looking really great, and I really cannot wait for the show to premiere. But let's actually get into what I wanted to talk about here. So in the trailer near the end, we actually saw a bear that was in front of Maggie, and yeah, that's going to be something that she's going to have to deal with at some point this season here. And immediately, you know, obviously my first reaction, I guess, was more that I can't believe we're going to see like, you know, a grizzly bear basically in a scene like this on The Walking Dead. Like that's absolutely insane. Like we've had animals obviously in the show that have been more in, well, that's the thing too. If you think about Shiva, like Shiva never really hurt any of the good guys, but would attack the bad guys, right? It like didn't really make a lot of sense. A lot of people laugh about that. Like literally there's a tiger jumping around in Alexandria, but only attacking the bad guys, not the good guys. Like it makes absolutely no sense at all. So I think actually seeing the bear here is just like incredible. I really can't wait to see how they did it. Like if it's all very practical, is it a real animal? I don't think so. But how did they film all of that? Like that's the stuff there where after the episode's over, I'm going to be really interested in watching some like behind the scenes stuff, because that's honestly super incredible. Like to think of like how they actually put that together, it looks real. Like it looks like a real animal. So I don't know if it actually is or what they did there, but yeah, honestly, it just looks absolutely incredible. I really can't wait to watch it. Now, the one thing that I've seen quite a bit is, you know, wondering whether or not this is a zombie bear. And I mean, personally, for me, it's hard to tell based off of the trailer if this is a zombie bear or not. Like, it's just hard to say because, like, we don't know. We haven't really had zombie animals at all on the show. So, like, you know, for it to be a zombie bear, I guess would just be very different because it would be, like, something that I guess would confirm that The Walking Dead is changing some of the rules here on how the virus works and everything, right? Because the zombie virus only really affects human beings right now, right? Not animals at all. So I think that in terms of animals, if they were to go in this direction, I mean, I honestly feel like, I don't want to say conflicted on that idea, but it is really interesting to think about, right? Like, that's the one thing that when you look at franchises like Resident Evil, you know, with like zombie dogs and everything, that's something that's really exciting because I think having that different level of a threat there just makes everything way more intense, right? Like if the animals are actually turning to zombies in some sense, you have to worry about so much more, like also just like the food that you're going to eat and like everything, right? Like there's so much that you actually have to be concerned about. So, you know, like just thinking about the idea of this being an actual like zombie bear, it would be cool. It definitely would be really cool, but I just don't know if Scott Gimple would do something like that and make it official that this is sort of where they're going here. I mean, it could be something that is just slowly starting, right? Like, I think that was the thing in season 11. Like, if you think about what they did with like variant walkers in that season, it wasn't anything entirely new, right? Like we had that one episode with like, I guess the cannibals or whatever. They weren't really, I guess, walkers technically, but it was just what they did with that storyline that made it really exciting because it just felt like, whoa, like walkers are changing now. And I think when you look back at like really since season 9 with the Whisperers, I think people are really interested in the virus changing here a little bit. I think that's why the variant walkers in, you know, Daryl Dixon or The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon were so exciting. I think that it's just something that you want the world to change like just a little bit. Like you really do. you can't have things the same because it's just not as exciting. I think you do need to up the threat level a little bit with like the zombies and stuff, because I think right now it's just a little bit too, I mean, honestly, I'm not thinking about it too much with Dead City Season 2. Like, I think Dead City Season 2, you don't even really need crazy zombies or anything like that. I'm more excited about the story and just like where things are going to be going next. But that question might come up again in Season 3 or 4, right? And I think overall, like, you were on a very exciting path with the variant walkers, and it ended kind of horribly, I would say, in Season 2. Honestly, Daryl Dixon Season 2 was probably one of the worst seasons I've watched of anything Walking Dead related in a very long time. And like, the more and more that time goes on, the more I look at that season and I'm just like, I can't believe the decisions that they made with a lot of what they set up in Season 1. Like, they really ruined, a really great story arc that they were on in Season 1. And I just, obviously things got a little bit better there towards the end, but it was more because they were starting something entirely new for Season 3. And Season 3 looks absolutely incredible. I'm so excited to see what Spain is going to bring, because it looks exciting. Like, the trailer looks fresh and new. It's going to be interesting to see if they bring back any sort of like new type of variant walker, because I think that is what they're always trying to do, is like every season have like a different type of like variant walker, whether or not it's actually a variant or maybe it's just like a walker that was like fused together with other walkers and like became the Walker King, right? So I think that this season for The Walking Dead Dead City Season 2, we're going to see something very similar here. There's going to be something that is going to look insane, that might seem like a new variant walker or like a super walker, but it might not necessarily be that overall. It might just be something like the Walker King, right? Like a walker that was just fused together that looks like a brand new walker. And you could argue that it really is, right? But yeah, just absolutely insane. So could we see a zombie bear at some point this season here? I think that, I mean, I don't know. Like I do have doubts about that, just because when you're looking at the scene, it's so hard to say whether or not this bear is actually a zombie. I feel like it is just going to be like a normal bear. It would be crazy for it to be an actual zombie, because I don't even know how you would like handle that. Like, that would just be absolutely crazy. And that's one of the things I would say with the show that I think would be really exciting, because the whole thing about variant walkers is like, I think you have to be smart with how you do the storyline, right? Like, I think if you just keep making the walkers more and more aggressive and they're just all, just getting stronger and stronger and faster, and it just gets like crazy and crazy, I think you end up with a whole like, like Dragon Ball Z type of thing where you always have to make, all the zombies constantly stronger or faster, and it's just going to keep going in that direction forever and ever. So I think being smart with how you handle it, I think is definitely the right way to go here. This way you're not going to completely exhaust all of that, in the next like couple of years. But I think the one thing that you could do is zombie animals. I think if animals, like maybe not all animals, but maybe some animals were slowly starting to turn to, I guess zombies in some sense, that would be really cool to see. Because if you remember in The Walking Dead Season 9, I believe, there was an episode with Negan in which he broke out of Alexandria. And then I remember there were like dogs out there and they were like super hungry. And so they were chasing him. That really, honestly, the threat level there was crazy. That was just entertaining to watch. And it was actually very exciting to see Negan trying to survive. And like, it had nothing to do with zombies really, but obviously the dogs, like, it reminded you of like zombie dogs from Resident Evil, right? Like, it was just a very cool scene in general. And I think that they got to do a lot more of that. They really do. So I think for Season 2 of Dead City, having a bear, like, it's a crazy idea, and I have questions as to how the bear is actually there, but it's definitely smart in terms of like the entertainment factor for the show, keeping things very fresh, even though I have seen people say that it's very unrealistic and it's just, very kind of, I guess, weird to have in the show. And what I will say about that is the new villain, his name is Bruegel, and what we know about his backstory so far, I believe, is that he was like a billionaire or he was a millionaire or something like that. He was very, very rich, and I believe he's been basically in hiding for a very long time. And I think that he's just that type of person to have a lot of animals just sort of around, right? But maybe he has animals like this, just like in his buildings or something like that, right? Like, I would expect that that's probably what we're going to see here. Like, they're in Bruegel's, like, mansion, or like, I don't know where they would be or whatever in New York, but like, that could be why Maggie comes across this, to be honest. Like, I think that Maggie, I mean, she could come across other animals there as well. Like, this is all we saw in the trailer. Like, that's the thing that's kind of cool too, is like, they never gave us everything from the show in this trailer. Like, there's going to be a lot more there. I'm interested in seeing how this scene is going to play out. Like, it's going to be a really fun scene. Maggie is going to be fine in the end, but I'm just, yeah, again, like we've never seen anything like this on The Walking Dead. So just in terms of where it's going, I really don't know. But I guess to sort of end it here, I will just say, in terms of it being a zombie bear, I mean, obviously, I guess maybe it is possible. We don't technically know, but I feel like it's probably not going to be. But the idea of zombie animals, being introduced on the show is interesting. I think that it would be really exciting. There's a whole aspect to it that would be a lot of fun, I think, for the show. And just for, the characters and like just, in terms of trying to survive and all that, it just changes everything. But, would it change too much though? Like, that's sort of my thing about it. Like, I think with variant walkers, it does change things, but it doesn't change everything that much. If they're more aggressive and faster, maybe you can't build, the same type of walls. You got to make like stronger walls, and, being out there trying to survive, like it'd be definitely a lot more difficult. But if you had animals that were zombies, that changes a lot of different dynamics in terms of trying to survive and like the food you're going to find and just like everything like that. Right. So I think, yeah, it's definitely an interesting idea, but definitely let me know your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.